What's up? How you doing, John? Thanks for hopping on today. What's up, man?
Nothing much. In Colombia right now.
Perfect place for you to be. We're actually finishing up work on an SEC football documentary, and we've been in Colombia as well here in the last year. So glad you got your Gamecock shirt on. Perfect for this because I want to actually go back to that because as I'm looking at your career and you experienced a coaching change at South Carolina, and Lou Holtz comes in. You guys are winless your last year there, and then they go on to go 8-4 the next year. Just kind of talk about that, kind of how you guys kind of built the foundation, but how hard was that kind of experiencing all the losing at Carolina?
We had great players and we had great people there also. My thing was it was just Lou coming in and pretty much cleaning the house and bringing in some better, not necessarily people, just bringing in more people ready to win. And he did a great job doing that. I think we had winning caliber people that year, but it was just such a big transition. And looking back, we had like one of the hardest schedule in the SEC and in pretty much in the country, that league. We were like number 4 overall from the people we faced. But when Lou got there, he showed people it wasn't all literally about playing football. It was more a mentality of wanting to win, and the guys came in ready. Like I said, when I first met Lou is the kind of guy who will tell you straight up like how he feels and what's going on. So I think the winning thing came from more mentality than anything, because a lot of the games that, even though we lost all those games, you watched the games, we were in most of the games, but some people were just a little more, I guess, they had a little more experience being in that winning system, like Tennessee, Florida, Georgia. Those guys were used to winning. We had a lot of guys that were, you see a lot of our teams, most of them guys, a lot of them guys went to the NFL, ended up being in NFL teams.
Absolutely. And just talk about South Carolina as a place and kind of what it means to you, because obviously you're there right now. The fan base is tremendous, win or lose. That was a kind of a rough time there in the 90s. And the fans show up. Williams-Brice Stadium, 80,000 people, win or lose. Just kind of talk about that fan base and what it's like playing there. And, you got the cockatoos, you've got the just so many traditions and wonderful things about it.
My big thing about South Carolina is, like you said, my big thing was that everybody loved, like you said, win or lose, they were there. I'm just walking out so you can hear a little better.
No problem.
Like
Yeah. Thank you. Got you back.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that, man. We were right there when you got to South Carolina, and you almost made a bowl game.
Yeah, we went 6-5. That was my only year beating Clemson. Then next year went 5-6. Then we went 1-10. Then we went 0-11. So I had a tough 4 years. But one thing I can say, every game we always had people at the game. There was no such thing as we sold out like every day, right? Like every game we sold out. So I knew they had a win endo, and getting Lou just really pushed.
Well, so you get drafted in 2000 by the New York Jets. You wind up being, I think, 13th all time in the NFL in sacks. We just had Jared Allen on a couple weeks ago, and he's right in front of you in sacks, and he's talking about the Hall of Fame. So, John, we got to get you in the Hall of Fame, man. You played in the league for 15 years. Your numbers are there. What do you think about the Hall of Fame? Should it happen?
Well, the older you get, the more you want it. The more you understand that people are going to come. Because when I'm retired, I was actually in the top 10. So there are already people that moved above me and above me and above me. And there are a lot of guys that also have defensive MVPs, won Super Bowls. And I haven't done all that, and I didn't lead the league in sacks. So hopefully, they'll show that I played hard, and I was, when I played, one of the top, defensive players. I guess a lot of my thing was like not being in the media as much, kind of being a little, to myself, just being a Carolina guy. A lot of our Carolina guys, you don't see us really doing a lot of media stuff. Like you can go from Stephon, you can go from just pretty much anybody. We're just not like, a lot of guys, that they're a media type guy. And I don't know what it is about South Carolina. We're pretty humble guys. You don't really see a lot of, people. Even Clowney, Clowney was number one big. He had a lot of hoopla, but you really don't see a lot about him, So I don't know if it's just the South Carolina nature in us that we don't really like talk a lot about stuff. We enjoy winning. We love getting to what we deserve, but we don't really want to boast and brag about it as much, But hopefully, my play will show that I deserve to be there. Maybe not first ballot, maybe not second time, but hopefully in my life, eventually they can see.
Yeah, I think it's well deserved. It's crazy when you look at that sack list, and you and Mark Gastineau share the Jets record for 4 sacks in a game. So the body of work is there, the consistency is there in a position that's very hard to do so. I want to ask you about, because I'm here in Kansas City. It's crazy enough, John. The year started off pretty good here, at least in Kansas City, winning Super Bowl 54. Things have sort of deteriorated since then, unfortunately, but the Chiefs win Super Bowl 54. Talk about what you see about a guy like Patrick Mahomes, and as a former linebacker to former defensive end, trying to corral a player like that that can do so much with his legs and arm angles. What do you see out of Patrick Mahomes?
I just see a great maturity at the age, and I think that has a lot to do with maybe his father, playing professional sports and getting him into sports at a young age, and him knowing how to run a team from probably, even as a minor, he probably was doing the same things he's doing now. So for him transitioning to the NFL probably was easy. If you grew up around sports and, seeing sports, like I know for me personally, me learning sports was pretty much me. I didn't really have a lot of people in my household that played sports or really engaged in sports. My parents were like, janitors. My grandparents were janitors, and we did a lot of work in schools and cleaning up stuff. But I didn't really know a lot about sports or good schools, bad schools, and everything. Even the competitive nature of getting into it until I really got to college at University of South Carolina, and I had people mold me into, really want to go to the NFL, knowing about sports and knowing about being good. But I think Patrick Mahomes is just, he's already climaxed pretty much more than any quarterback that you ever think about. And he's not even in his 6th year, but he's got a lot more to build on. But I don't think he has the mentality personally that will make him any worse as he gets on. I think he'll kind of gravitate to getting better every year.
John, so as a part of this documentary, we went to a different game each week through an entire season of the SEC. So I've got to ask you, we talked about Williams-Brice Stadium, the atmosphere there. What are some places that really stand out to you that you played in, some of the environments? I know, you guys played obviously Florida and Georgia every year, but I know you get LSU here and there, and you have to go to Baton Rouge. That was insane. Just talk about some of the crazy places to play.
Well, I can say me personally, it probably was Florida. I didn't get the chance to play in Baton Rouge or the other places. We played Florida and Tennessee. Listen, they had Peyton Manning. We had Danny Wolfer in Florida. Well, Tennessee had everybody. Now that I think about it, Tennessee had Jamal Lewis. They had Sean Ellis. They had Raynoch Thomas. They had, man, they hold pretty much. I can't describe like how many NFL players they had on that team.
Peerless Price.
Yeah, they had. You could just say like you got Grant. You got they had so many people on that team that like my junior year, it was ridiculous. They came to South Carolina and that's when T. Martin they just destroyed us. And my senior year, they was just the teams I played from. Florida had great guys like Curtis, Fred Taylor, Warford, and a lot of receivers too, but not guys that made it to the NFL and really stuck like that. So me going in there, just going in their stadiums was amazing. And I think Florida probably was the scariest. They still had a Spurrier there. But the crowd used to literally rock. Like, it was so loud there. And like when it says the swamp, it's the swamp. It's like literally you closed in, you can't get out anywhere, and it's just like the guest locker rooms look like the guest locker rooms. You get there, you know for a fact you're in the guest locker room. But it was a kind of situation that you figure out if you want to be good or not going against the guys I went against. So it helped me personally. And it helped me mentally that showing that I could make it in the NFL.
Talk about your post-football life. It's been since 2014 when you last played with the Arizona Cardinals. What have the last, 5-6 years meant to you? What does the game mean to you? And kind of what's it been like now that you've removed yourself from the game for a few years?
Well, it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. I actually left with a real bad concussion, and I'm actually just getting back to myself. It really takes a long time once you have a injury like that, you hear about people saying it, and I can see why a lot of the younger guys now are letting the game go a little earlier than they have to. Because I played 15 years, and people ask me how many concussions I had, and I'm like, I don't know. First of all, back in the day, concussions weren't that serious. And I think it was a mentality that stuck in my head and probably a lot of older players' head that you ain't gonna come out for a concussion. Now, like thinking back, a lot of times I got hit. Now I should have took it more serious. But it's getting better. I mean, I'm better now than I was probably when I first got my concussion. Like the first 2 or 3 years were kind of tough because, like now my memory is still bad. And, I still think about stuff like that. I have situations that I used to talk about, I can't talk about now. Things I used to do, I'm not really comfortable doing now. But like trying to stay close to home, staying close to people I know, being pretty much try to be myself as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things, like I said, it kind of distracts me from being me sometimes. But a lot of staying home, trying to hang out when you can, trying to see people that you can, do stuff like that. But I'm not like mad because it helped take care of a lot of people, my family, everything like that. But also, it's a lot of things that occur now or happening now that didn't, I wouldn't think it was going to be as worse as it is.
John, that's incredibly insightful, and your contributions to the game, I hope are very much appreciated by those that watched you play. And it's a tough deal, and the NFL is trying to get better and trying to deal with this as we learn more. But can't thank you enough for jumping on with us today, man, and talking to football. We need football to come back because I think we need that. We need to get back to normal in some semblance of a way here coming up. So hopefully we can do that. We can get this football season kicked off right here in August and September, man.
Yeah, no question. I think it's good for just people to have something to do besides thinking. you know, no, seriously. I think the worst thing is when you sit at home and think by yourself. Sometimes it helps, but when you're mandated to do certain things, it tends to make you do certain other things. So hopefully, this will strengthen us. It's going to be hard. I think for a year now, it's going to take a while to get back to just being able to live life, being able to shake the person your next door neighbor hand, being able just just being able just to say, hey, I don't care who you are, I love you regardless. It's going to be tough, but just,
We'll,
I'm right.
we'll
Yeah, but
definitely get there. Yeah.
it'll take a little while. Though. It's not going to happen overnight. Now I don't care what people say. It's not going to happen overnight. And but hopefully, the people that the strength of our country will stay together and keep us strong as we are.
That's that's so great and so well said. I'll just tell you this. It's a good thing that I'm single and I was when this started, because if I wasn't then, I would be now. I'll tell you that. So that's all I can be thankful for. John, thanks so much for hopping on today, my friend. Continued health and happiness, and we'll definitely catch up again soon, my friend. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks a lot.
You bet.